Hello friends, welcome to Tricks. Today in this video we will learn how the election of the President of India takes place. Who are the people who take part in this election process and how the value of the votes of the MPs and MLAs are determined. What is this single transferable voting which is applied in this election? First of all, who can be a President of India? Very important question. According to Article 58 of the Constitution, there are certain qualifications for the election of President in India. Firstly, he or she should be a citizen of India. He or she must have completed the age of 35 years. He or she must be qualified for election as a member of the House of the People. And he or she should not hold any office of profit under union or state government. Here, the office of union minister or state minister or governors are not considered as office of profit, and hence they can stand for election. After the qualification, let us quickly move to the election process. The president is elected for a term of 5 years, and he himself can terminate his term by writing a resignation addressed to vice president, and he can be removed from the office by the process of impeachment. This process I will explain in the next video. He is eligible to be re-elected for the same office for unlimited times. He is not elected by the people directly. This is important. The election of the President of India is an indirect election. He is elected by an electoral college. This electoral college consists of elected members of parliament, MPs from Lok Sabha as well as Rajya Sabha, and elected members of state legislative assembly including that of NCT of Delhi and Pondicherry. No nominated members of Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha participate in the election, and no nominated members of State Legislative Assembly as well as members of Legislative Council participate in the election process. Again, for the candidature, there must be 50 proposers and 50 seconders, which means there must be 50 people who should support the candidature and 50 people who should support this proposition, and the security fees is 15,000 rupees, which can be forfeited in case the candidate fails to secure even 1/6 of the valid votes polled. We learned that elected MPs and MLAs participate in the election process of the president, but this election is not like the election we participate in which each of the individual has one vote. In this election, in the presidential election, each MLA and MP have certain value of votes with them, which is calculated according to a fixed formula. For calculating the value of vote of an MLA, total population of state is divided by the total number of elected members in the state legislative assembly, which is further divided by 1000, and in this way value of the vote is calculated. This value of vote of an MLA is then by the total number of assembly seats, which gives the total value of votes for the state. Then value of vote of an MP is calculated, and this value of vote on MP is calculated by the formula total value of votes of all MLAs of all states divided by total number of elected members of parliament. This can be explained using an example, and before I give you any example, let me tell you that population data of each state is taken according to the 1971 census. Now let us understand how the value of votes of each MLA is calculated. For example, the population of Arunachal Pradesh in 1971 was 4,67,511, and the number of assembly seats in Arunachal Pradesh is 60, which gives us the value of vote of each MLA is 8 in Arunachal Pradesh, and this value of vote of each MLA is then multiplied by number of seats in the legislative assembly, which is 8 into 60. This gives us 480. This is the total value of votes for the state. In this way, value of each MLA of all the states is calculated, and then total value of votes for all the states are calculated, which stands as 5,49,474. It is the total value of all MLAs of all the states. Next thing is value of vote of an MP. This is calculated by dividing total value of votes of all MLAs of all states divided by total number of elected members of parliament. So we calculated total value of votes of all MLAs of all states, that stood at 5,49,474, and total number of elected members of parliament are 543 in Lok Sabha, since 2 members are nominated by the president, which belong to the Anglo-Indian community, and 233 members of Rajya Sabha. We know that 12 members are nominated by the Rajya Sabha. Nominated members do not take part in elections. So total number of elected members of parliament is 776. So value of vote of an MP is 5,49,474 divided by 776, which is approximately 708. So the value of vote of an MP is 708. There is a parity in the value of vote of an MP. However, the value of vote of each MLA differs according to the population of the state. This was the method to calculate the value of votes of the MPs and MLAs. Now total members in the electoral college will be 4,120 MLAs plus 776 MPs is equal to 4896. This is the total number of members in the electoral college, which gives us the total votes in the electoral college, and total votes in the electoral college can be counted by adding total votes of the MLAs, all the MLAs, which is 5,49,474 MLAs plus value of votes of all the MPs can be calculated by multiplying 776 into 708, which gives us 5,49,408, which equals to 10,98,882. This is the total number of votes that will be polled in the election of the president. However, number of valid votes can be different. The president's election is held in accordance with the system of proportional representation. Proportional representation and single transferable voting system in the secret ballot. What is this single transferable voting system? This is very important concept. In a single transferable voting system, there is electoral quota fixed, which is calculated according to this formula. Total number of valid votes polled by number of seats plus 1, which gives us a quota of 50 plus 1. A candidate must secure 50 plus 1 votes to be the winner. And if he or she is not able to secure this 50 plus 1 votes, for example, if there are 2 or 3 candidates or 4 candidates, then it is not possible for a candidate to secure 50% of votes. He may secure 30% or 25%, or some other candidates may secure 28%, but for a single candidate to secure 50% is not possible. So there are 2 or 3 rounds, and that is why it is called transferable voting system. I will explain here. For example, let us take that there are 4 candidates standing for the election, A, B, C and D. This is also called preferential voting system, which means each elector is given a single ballot in which the candidate's name is mentioned, A, B, C and D, and each elector has to give his preference. For example, he wants A more than B but D more than C. So he can give his preference like this. He gives A first preference, he gives B third preference, he gives C second preference and gives D fourth preference, like this. So his first preference is A, his second preference is C, his third preference is B, and his fourth preference is D. Likewise, another elector can give his preference like this: 2, 1, 3, 4. In this way, voting takes place. After this, vote is counted, and the candidate who secures least amount of first preference, for example, if D does not secure any first preference votes or is able to secure just one or two first preference votes, he or she will be eliminated from this process. Let me make it more simple for you. Assume that there are 100 voters and three candidates A, B, and C. And in the first round of voting, A gets 40 votes, B gets 35 votes, and C gets 25 votes. Now, none of the three candidates are able to secure 50 plus 1 votes. So, the voting process will go for the second round. And in the second round, the candidate which has secured least number of preferential voting, which means least number of first preference votes, will be eliminated. Here, C has secured only 25 votes, which means in the preferential voting system, C has secured 25 votes in which it has first preference. So C will be eliminated. And in these 25 ballots, few must have voted for A as second preference and few must have voted for B as second preference. Now assume that in these 25 ballots, A has secured second preference in 5 ballots and B secured second preference in 20 ballots, which means that the total vote count of A will be 40 plus 5 and that of B will be 35 plus 20, which means the final winner will be B. Even though A was getting more votes in the first round, more first preference votes in the first round, yet B has emerged winner in the second round, which means even though you are scoring less in your test series, never give up. You may score well, never be depressed by your test score. You may trump the UPSC examination. This was all about single transferable voting system. I will be making the next video on the impeachment process and the pardoning power of the president. Hope you liked this video and understood the concept. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel.